Okay, so this is for Chapter 8-2, calculating depreciation. And I'm going to just show you how I would set up this chart if I wasn't using the plant asset record, if I had to do this for a test and I didn't have a chart set up for me. This is what I would do. So I would say cost. And let's go with the example in the book on page 223. Original cost was $2,000. Now, some of you guys know that I really like to make things look pretty and right. So here's my cost. We're going to say salvage value. And I'm going to put a colon for the sake of consistency. We're going to say salvage value is $175. And then we're going to say estimated total depreciation expense. Now let me put something in here. So cost is going to be purchase price plus shipping plus we'll say plus installation. We can make that bigger, it's fine, right? Salvage value is going to be estimated value at end of useful life. Our estimated total depreciation expense, and I know that's a lot of abbreviations, is going to be cost minus salvage value. And so we're going to calculate these at $1,825. I'm going to just put a border in here just because this is what I do. Okay, so this is what our total depreciation expense should be over the useful life of this item. And then we need estimated, we don't want it there though, we actually want to hit estimated useful life. And we're going to say this is 5 years. And so we want to calculate our annual depreciation expense. Let me do some more abbreviating for you guys real quick. Annual depreciation expense. Okay, it's just like it's just like a normal lecture. I'm singing to you guys and everything while I do this. And this is going to be estimated total depreciation expense divided by estimated useful life. So we're going to take the estimated total depreciation expense divided by 5, and we get $365. This is one way to do it. The other way to do this is to take 100%, and I'm going to turn that into a percentage. Oh, that didn't work out so well, did it? There we go. 100%, and I'm going to divide it by 5. So this 20% is annual amount of estimated total depreciation expense. And so if I want the I've lost my pause button. I should say this is the annual percentage. There we go. Annual percentage of the estimated total depreciation expense. Oh Lord. Okay. And if I wanted to know the actual annual depreciation expense, I would take my 1825 and I would multiply it times this 20% right here. And I end up with $365. And so if we want it to look much more like this one, we can go here, put this in here, and then annual depreciation expense is going to be estimated total depreciation expense times annual percentage. So you could do it either way. Anyway, this might be easier for you guys than this way, but it's there, you know, and you see it, and that's what's important. So now let's set up a little chart. We're going to do year, annual depreciation expense, accumulated depreciation, and book value. I'll spell that one out for you, but BV is book value. Okay, and above it though, I'm going to insert actually a couple lines so I can write a couple quick formulas for you. So annual depreciation expense equals the estimated total depreciation expense divided by the estimated useful life. These columns are getting bigger and bigger, aren't they? Accumulated depreciation is going to equal PY is prior year Acct plus current year annual depreciation expense. Holy smokes, this is getting out of control, isn't it? And then book value is going to equal cost minus Acct. It's like they're all related. It all flows into each other. So so 5 years to useful life, right? This is year 1. Oops, it disappeared. Oh no, there it is. Year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5. And this says that it was purchased in January, so we don't have to worry about calculating a partial year. We're just going to calculate for a full year. So we need to calculate our annual depreciation expense, right? Well, we actually already did. We know it's going to be $365. So we want to calculate our accumulated depreciation. Well, the way we're going to do that is that we are going to use the prior year accumulated depreciation plus the current year annual depreciation expense. Well, this is our first year. Prior year, we had no prior year accumulated depreciation, and this year our depreciation expense is going to be this amount right here, the $365. And then our book value is going to be our cost minus our accumulated depreciation. And I'm going to make this prettier real quick. So when I come back to talking, it's going to look a little bit different. Okay, so that's a little bit more organized. So green is our formula. I should have made this green actually. Hold on a second. Let me fix that real quick. Green. Okay, so green is our formula. Blue is our useful information, and then whatever color this might be is our actual value. So hopefully that corresponds down here as well. So formulas. Blue is useful information, like what are we trying to find, and then the I don't know what color this is. I don't know if it's like peach or orange or whatever color it is, but this color is going to be a calculated value. Okay, so year 2. Well, annual depreciation expense, not changing, right? It's the same amount year after year after year. Accumulated depreciation, though, says that it's, let me do one more thing. All borders. Man, this is going to look so much better if I ever get around to finishing it and don't run out of time in this video. Okay, yay, it's all there. So accumulated depreciation says it's prior year accumulated depreciation. So we're in year 2, so year 1 accumulated depreciation plus the current year annual depreciation expense, which is $365. So plus sign, click the cell, and our annual accumulated depreciation is $730. Book value is our cost minus our accumulated depreciation. So our cost minus our accumulated depreciation. I can't remember if I've shown you guys this before, but we're going to do something called put in an absolute cell reference. Our cost for all of these is always going to be $2,000. We will always reference the cell. So what we're going to do is put in a $sign that says always reference C, always reference 2. And so we can literally copy and paste this formula at this point. Year 3, again, it's going to be $365 because we split it evenly over 5 years. Accumulated depreciation is going to be the prior year's accumulated depreciation plus the current year's annual expense. And we can actually make this a formula as well. So prior year accumulated depreciation, current year's annual depreciation expense, and then book value, we're just going to drag this formula down. Okay, so if I want to finish this chart easily in Excel, I can just by finishing out my formulas. And if you take a look here, our book value right now is equal to our estimated salvage value. And so, which I suppose this should say estimated salvage value if I want it to be super correct. Okay, so our book value is equal to our estimated salvage value. So if we have a year 6 for whatever reason, we have 0 annual depreciation expense, and we still have $1,825 in accumulated depreciation and accumulated depreciation of non-accumulated depreciation. Hold on, let me put this in real quick. That didn't work out very well, did it? A book value of $175. Oh, I lost all my lines. Okay, so say we had a year 7. Year 7, we'd have no annual depreciation expense. It too would be 0. Why? Because once our book value here reaches our well, here actually, reaches our estimated salvage value, we no longer account for depreciation. It's gone. We split over 5 years. We get more time out of the machine. And so our accumulated depreciation, it's not growing. It's staying at, I have to make this right. I'm sorry. It's not growing. It's staying at $1,825, and our book value is not changing either. It's staying at $175,000, $175. This could literally go on for like ever and ever and ever. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is how we're going to calculate for a partial year of depreciation. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about how we would do for a partial month. So this is the way you can see it. I am using the same table that I used last time. As you can see, I put formulas in here, and so they're going to disappear until we calculate all this stuff. So I really like our example of the t-shirt machinery, because I know some of you guys are in DECA, or I think it's actually entrepreneurship that made t-shirts, but I think some of you guys are familiar with that. So purchase price, earlier we said it was $100,000, so we're going to do a formula, 100,000 plus shipping, which I said was $5,000, and installation setup was another $5,000. So our cost on our books is $110,000. Our estimated salvage value, let's say at the end of its life, we think that we can sell it for $5,000 to South. And then we need to calculate our estimated total depreciation that we need to account for. So we do that by taking our cost, subtracting our estimated salvage value, and we get $105,000. So over the estimated useful life of this machinery, we should account for, have a total accumulated depreciation of $105,000. Estimated useful life, we're going to say 10 years. And so now we need to calculate our annual depreciation expense. We take our estimated total depreciation here, and we divide it by our estimated useful life here. And I don't think I actually put in the correct symbol. Okay, there we go. Here, estimated total depreciation divided by estimated useful life. And our annual depreciation expense is $10,500. Great. Okay, so if we want to go look at our alternative method, same thing as before. We take 100, we divide it by 10. That's my formula here. So each year we're accounting for 10% of the estimated total depreciation expense. So, and this is wrong, I need to fix this. So, 10% of our estimated total depreciation expense. Here's our estimated total depreciation expense. We're going to multiply that by the 10%, and we should get the same number here and here, right? It's just an alternate method. I think this one might be slightly faster, but it just depends on who you are. So we actually are going to need to insert a few more years. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 more. Well, let's say, though, and we know this because we looked at our plant asset record, but let's say that we purchased this t-shirt making machine on June 3rd of 2005, right? So that means that we have to account for a partial year of depreciation. So how many months due of depreciation? I think I was going to say, do we need to calculate for depreciation? So how many months? Well, let's count it out. We've got June, we've got July, we've got August. I'm counting on my fingers, guys. June, July, August. I have 3 fingers up. September, October, November, December. That's 7 months of depreciation. So count it on my fingers. June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 7 months. We need to calculate our monthly depreciation expense because we only need 7 months. So how do we do that? We take our annual depreciation expense, which is $10,500, and we divide that by the number of months in a year, which is 12. So that gives us $875 of depreciation per month. Hey, that's almost what I get paid in a month. And then we need to calculate our first year of depreciation, partial year. So we take our monthly depreciation expense, which is this amount here, and we multiply it by our months of depreciation, which is this amount here. So take our 875, multiply it by 7. We get $6,125. So let's set up our years. And we can actually, I should be able to do it this way. Let's see if I can. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Okay, it doesn't want to work right. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Annual depreciation expense. Well, for our first year, we calculated $6,125. our accumulated depreciation, prior year accumulated depreciation plus current year annual depreciation expense. Well, that's going to be a big fat no prior year and a 6,125 for current year. So what's going to be 6125, and our book value, remember, is going to be our cost minus our accumulated depreciation, which is $103,875. Remember, accumulated depreciation is a contra account, and that's why we have our cost, which has a, and I say cost, and so what we put it on our books at is, and we'll say this is like manufacturing equipment. It would be manufacturing equipment, and it would have a debit balance of $110,000. Whereas this accumulated depreciation account, it would be accumulated depreciation, manufacturing equipment. It would be a credit for $6,125. That's how we come up with that book value. Okay, year 2. Well, this year is a full year, so we are taking a full amount of depreciation expense. So that's going to be $10,500. Our accumulated depreciation, therefore, is going to be our prior year accumulated depreciation. I need to use an equal sign. Plus our current year annual depreciation expense, which equals $16,625. And then our book value is going to be our cost minus our accumulated depreciation. So I know next year accumulated depreciation, because it's being spread evenly, $10,500. I'm going to go ahead and set up my formula for this field, because it's going to get repetitive. Prior year accumulated depreciation, current year annual depreciation expense. And then I'm going to set up my book value as well. So book value, I always want it to reference, you be quiet thing. I always want it to reference C2, and then I want it to back out the accumulated depreciation. So there's something I have to watch for, right? And that's that I want to make sure that my book value doesn't accidentally get below my salvage value. And if it does that, I need to make some adjustments. So year 4, 10,500. We don't have a whole lot of time left in this video. So here's my accumulated depreciation. It's prior year accumulated depreciation, this year's accumulation, annual depreciation expense, recalculate my book value. And then I'm just going to start, I'm copying and pasting in case you're wondering what's going on, why this is moving. And then another thing I can do is just pop this down. And I just, like I said, I just want to make sure that I'm not getting below my salvage value. Oh no, it changed my values though. It didn't want to do it before, but now it does it. Okay, better now. Oh, whoops, that's not what you guys want. Okay, so we finished year 10, but somehow we still have $9,374 left for our book value. Shouldn't we only have $5,000 if we did this correctly? Well, guess what? The reason that we have this is because this is actually only a partial year. So we would actually bleed over into another partial year for finishing off our depreciation. In total, we should have 120 months of depreciation. 10 times 12, 120. So we should have 120 months of depreciation. So this year we had 7. Oh, there's a giant mosquito bug that just landed next to me and scared me. Then we have 2 through 10. And these are all full years, right? So these are 9 full years, partial year, partial year. So this is not correct for this year. We need to back this out. Let's recalculate this. And so this is for year 1, and this is for year 11. We're going to say how many months of depreciation? Well, we need to get it to 5 years, right? We've already used up 7 years of 5 years, 5 months. We used up 7 months of 1 year. That means we're only going to use 5 months of this year. Or we want to depreciate through June 7th, right? But we're not going to use June 7th. We already counted June. So we want through May. So January, February, March, April, May. Yes, I'm counting on my fingers. That's 5 months. We know our annual depreciation expense is $875, and then our first year depreciation is going to be the amount of months times the annual depreciation expense, which gets us $4,375. So 4375. Accumulated depreciation is prior year plus current year annual depreciation expense. Calculate our I don't need to do it that way. Calculate our book value. Oh my goodness. Okay, and $5,000, right? That's also what our salvage value is. 5,000, 5,000. It looks like we calculated our depreciation correctly. Now, the other way you could have done this if you didn't want to calculate for a partial year is you could have said, I have $9,375 in a book value. I know I should have $5,000. Therefore, 93.75 minus 5,000 is $4,375. And I also wanted to address that partial year depreciation is also used if you sell off equipment or discard or whatever in the middle of a fiscal year. And so say that year 8, we decided that we were going to go ahead and sell this machinery, our t-shirt machine, in August of this year. Then year 8, we would have only used a partial amount of depreciation, right? So would you use January through August, which is how many months? January on my thumb, February on my index finger, March on my middle finger, April on my ring finger, May on my pinky finger, June, July, August. It's 8 months, right? We used up 8 months of depreciation if we used a partial year. Anyway, that concludes this lecture. I'm pretty sure your brains are probably all rattled and addled, and you guys are saying, what in the world? Next class, though, we will work in the Excel file / workbooks so that we will get a better understanding of this. So, hope you enjoyed this. Goodbye.